Welcome back to another episode of the Power Podcast. Today we have Melanie with us and she is into PR. So, yes, Melanie, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Nilesh. So I am Melanie and I am originally from the United Kingdom and I followed my heart and I now live in beautiful sunny Spain. It's the Canary Islands, so we're just off the coast of Africa. And like you said, I do public relations and I help coaches get visible, but actually sell who they are as well as their services.
Okay, that's really nice. So, let's moving forward to our first question. Like, how can people promote their business without being salesy?
Exactly. I like that question. The more time you spend online, you see a lot of sleazy tactics, especially in the coaching industry. It can be the big bro marketing. So they're trying to bully you into a sale or maybe even shame you. I've often heard words like, well, if you cared about yourself enough, you'd invest. Those words should never be spoken. Absolutely not. So the way that you should sell is with integrity, and it should become very easy. Like when I am on a call with a potential client, obviously there's something that's made them get on the call. But once we get off the call, they will always say, which you said, funnily enough, before we started recording, I love your energy. I love your passion. I see that you know what you know, and I know I can trust you to get what I need done. So, what I want to
Exactly.
say to you is when you are marketing your business is an extension of you.
Exactly.
So treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, we all get those sleazy, horrible, cold DMs all day long.
Mhm.
And you need to be building connections, and connections can be built in any way. It can be built on your social media, via email, in a Facebook group, so many ways. But when you do public relations, it's widening the net and it's getting you seen on bigger platforms, which, as we go through this interview, by the end of this interview, you'll have learned more about me and know who
Yes.
I am as a person.
So yeah, that's really a nice answer. So let's moving forward to our second question. Why do public relations surely emails and social media is enough?
Yeah, I do have this said to me a lot, and I get it because I'm going to hold my hand up. You can build a very successful business on emails and social media alone. But the example that I want to give you is this: every single time you are putting a post out on social media, you have no control over the algorithm. It could
Mhm.
be a flop or it could do really well. It's a bit
Mhm.
potluck. You never really know. With your emails, you have no control over the open rate of the email. Could be really
Exactly.
good, could not. You don't know, right?
Mhm.
All of those two things I've just said, you have no control over. That said, you should still do it, but you
Mhm.
have no control.
Mhm.
And every time you do it, you're going to talk to the same people.
Mhm.
Whereas when you do public relations, you're going onto platforms where they don't know about you. They have no
Mhm.
idea, like now, anyone listening to this, they don't know who I am. And what happens is you get to go on bigger platforms, you get to share your message, and in turn, send them over to your community. And that is why when people say, yeah, but I'm doing Facebook, sorry, I'm doing my social media and I'm doing emails, that's enough, surely. And I always say to them, I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise. If you're happy with that, go with it. But when you add public relations to it, it speeds up the growth.
So my third and last question to you is, should someone wait to grow their business more and then start doing PR?
Yeah, I get asked this a lot. And here's what I say. And women will always say this to me because it's the way women are wired, it's the way we think. And it's only normal when you're in the online space to look at the competition. Of course, you're going to look at the competition. And a lot of times women will say things like, but I'm not as well established as that woman over there. So how can I even step up to the table? And what I always say to them, because I know it's fear, I know
Mm,
fear is speaking because they don't feel as advanced as that person. And what I
mm,
always say to them is this: at one point in the competition's life, they got fed up with their own shit. They got fed up being overlooked. They got fed up not being, people weren't talking about them. People didn't know who they were. People weren't recommending them. They just weren't being discussed. And at one point in their journey, they said, I'm done. I'm done lurking in the corner. What
mm,
I want to do now is increase my visibility. I want to be discussed in rooms. I want people to be saying, oh, yeah, you must work with that person. They're amazing. And so the thing is, they came to that eureka moment, but then years have gone by and now they are where they are. So, what I will say to women when they bring this up is I always say, I don't know when that day will happen, but you are going to come to the day where you're like, I'm fed up. I'm fed up not getting clients. I'm fed up not being discussed. I'm fed up that no one knows who I am, right? When that day happens, you are ready. And the thing is, your business won't grow as quickly by not doing it. So, yes, you can still do your emails, you can still do your social media, but your growth will take longer because
mm.
new people are not coming into your world and you're just relying on the algorithm and the open rate of your emails, which can be successful. I'm not knocking that at all. But imagine if you were on other platforms and all of a
Mhm,
sudden you're doing podcast interviews, you're being featured in magazines, you're doing
mhm,
online summits, you're doing digital TV appearances. Imagine how much impact you will have by doing that.
mhm. Exactly. So one should not like wait for their business to be established to start PR. They should start PR immediately, as soon as possible.
I always say to people, I'm never going to force you into it because that's not my style.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
never do that. I always say to people, think about it because you will know when you're ready. And it could be tomorrow, it could be 6 weeks from now, it could be
Mhm,
months from now, it could be a year from now. I don't know when that day will happen. But there will come a day where you're fed up. You're
mhm,
fed up not in the success that you know you can have. And the
mhm,
only way you can have that success is by being seen and heard.
mhm,
Because just to give you a very small example, you can still show your personality if you do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live. You can show that personality. But people don't want to listen to a long video. People don't have the time. Sometimes people
exactly.
will look at how long a video is and they won't even click on it because they're like, I don't have that time, right? Whereas if I'm looking at a podcast and I see the title and I'm like, oh, that sounds good, I'll be living my life. I could be walking the dog, I could be driving a car, I could be going for a run. And I'm quite happy to be listening to 45 minutes, an hour, because I know that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, that day will happen when you're ready.
Yes, yes. So all the answers and all the discussion were really meaningful and valuable. And I hope this session will show people how important is PR for their business, especially online business. So yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Melanie, for showing up on this podcast and share your valuable experience.